One simple strategy to help with late night snacking, even if you come home to cheese and biscuits, as I did the other day. Cheese and biscuits left out on the side. Wensleydale, Red Leicester, among other, Brie. Yeah, I was definitely up. Anyway, good morning. How are we? Beautiful sky this morning. So, just on way to morning sessions, wanted to touch on this as in yesterday's Q&A. Hey Jane, in yesterday's Q&A for people who are just getting started, and also others as well. We talked about a few things that have helped with late night snacking, and it comes up a lot, late night snacking. If you come in and give me a hello, if you come in on replay, just drop a replay below. With late night snacking, it does come up a lot, and even me, the cheese and biscuits. These are, when you come back and there's food there, if you long day, dinner's not for an hour, you can put the scenario in now, right? But this can often hold people back. Everyone knows what to do. No one really needs necessarily another recipe ideas all the time. Sometimes they're good, but I went over yesterday and a few other days about reflection on eating habits, asking the right questions. The better questions you ask, the better answers you'll get. But today I just want to give you something that's really actionable and you can do straight away today. Hey Sue. And in yesterday's Q&A, like I said, this came up with a lot of ladies who have found it really helpful, which is simply delaying breakfast, delaying lunch, delaying that mid-afternoon snack if you have one, then delaying the evening meal till later, which means you find it easier to control your snacking in the evening. Now, this isn't always possible. However, it's a really simple strategy that you can just literally plug into your day now. Not many people mess up first thing in the morning. Hey Al, not everyone is really hungry first thing in the morning. And I don't mean fasting necessarily, I just mean you could just delay it an hour. You could just delay it mid-morning to when you're actually hungry. Then you delay lunch slightly and delay it so that you then have that evening meal. Because let's face it, then if you're quite satisfied then, and you've had quite a meal in the evening, a bit later, it doesn't have to be your substantial meal. We could go through this in another way and you could have your substantial meal at lunchtime, but obviously there's family, psychosocial issues with this, and I know a lot of people who will actually say that doesn't work for me, and that's true. So for some people, here's the thing, the late night snacking isn't after dinner, it's actually the mid-afternoon. And for that reason, you may actually need to push your evening meal a bit earlier, or actually structure in a small meal, something you can have at that time, which is good protein that's structured and planned. Because if it's not structured and planned, you have nothing to be disciplined to. You have no real plan. And what's the saying? The smartest person can be outdone. This is not the quote, but it kind of goes along the lines of the smartest person in the world can be undone by someone with a plan. And it's definitely true when it comes to this, because our brain loves a bit of certainty, like what am I going to do? Whereas if we're just given loads of choice, it becomes a willpower game. And with life, with stress, with tiredness, I spoke about sleep and menopause yesterday. If you didn't look at that, you can scroll down and look at that. That's going to be an issue because that hits our prefrontal cortex, which means we make less intelligent decisions based on perhaps short term rather than longer term, because we're tired, and tiredness does that. The good news is rest, meditation, sleep can get this back, but just knowing is empowering. That knowing that you will find certain foods, or perceive them rather, as more rewarding than they actually are, can be quite empowering when you're a bit tired. So going back to this, one actionable tip: either have your meals so that you structure them later in the day. Even if you're having your evening meal earlier, I'd also say that delaying breakfast could be a good option for you, especially if you leave the house early and you're not just wolfing it down. But likely, if your snacking is that mid-afternoon, you may need to bring your evening meal earlier or plan a meal in for that time. These aren't crazy, sexy tips, but the thing is, when they're actionable and you do them and you're consistent with them, that's when you're going to get the results. And then you've got to think, okay, yeah, but that's hard, it takes a bit of effort, and it might do at the start. But the alternative, what's the alternative? The alternative takes effort too. It's hard to stay the same, and we never really consider what the alternative is or what we're missing out on by not doing it. We often consider what we're missing out on by not snacking, but we rarely consider what we're missing out on by actually snacking. It's not to say snacking is bad, like I said. If you can structure that meal in, you know what you're having, or snack, whatever you want to call it, that mid-afternoon, if you're someone who needs that and you want to eat with the family later, which is absolutely fine. And likewise, even after the meal as well. So, I hope that helps. That's given you a few things to think about after morning sessions. So I'll see you soon. Take care.